Ever Living, a podcast about valuing life here on earth and for eternity. We are your life-loving hosts, Xindi
and Jessica.
And every week on Ever Living, we create a space to share the voices and stories of those who work and pray to create a culture that values and protects life here in New England and beyond. Welcome to Ever Living.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. How are you, Xindi?
Good, Jessica.
Good. I see you're in a different background today. Are you at school? Is that where you're filming this from?
I'm at my workplace. It's that time of the year.
I know, back to school. All my roommates went back to school this week. They're all in college and grad school.
Yeah. So does that affect your life as well as you work with college students?
Yeah, this week is less busy for me, mostly because pretty much my busyness will start next week because there's all the student club fairs. So I'll be going to like all the club fairs and trying to recruit people to start pro-life groups. But most of them, at least in New England, start next week. So yeah, but yeah, it's picking up. It's busyness, new semester, but fall's coming. So I'm happy. I love fall.
Yeah. Fall, pumpkin spice flavors.
Exactly.
Well, Jessica, would you say women have a lot of options these days?
They do. Women do have a lot of options, and I think often they don't know about what their options are. So it's important that we share about them for sure. Absolutely.
Well, today we have the Executive Director of Options for Women in Rochester, New Hampshire. Let's welcome Mike Younus.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
This is great. Yeah. So you're the Executive Director of Options for Women. And yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what Options is and what your role is and what exactly you do?
Sure. Well, Options is a ministry that's been in existence for 41 years. For 35 of those years, we were in Dover. In the last 6 years, we've been in Rochester. We are a pregnancy resource center and clinic, which means that we have the ability to offer women medical services, such as pregnancy tests and ultrasounds, at no charge. And our mission, frankly, is to be the first step for them as they explore those options that the two of you were talking about, that they all have, with the ability to give them truth that they're not going to find elsewhere, as well as the support that they need as they go through challenging times of making decisions about whether they're going to keep their child or not.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. It's amazing. That's why we always love having people come on and talk about, pregnancy centers and all the resources you guys offer, because a lot of women don't know that these are out there to them. And you said so you provide free pregnancy tests. What other services does Options provide to families?
Well, we operate our center a little bit differently. We have two components to it. One is the option side, and that's medical. And through the medical services we offer, you can obtain pregnancy test, ultrasound, STD testing, and treatment on a limited basis. We only test for a couple, but we offer that as well. And then the other side of our organization is Together Family Services, where we offer parenting classes. We have a thrift shop. We also have a biblical counselor on staff. I don't know if either of you know this, but within the community that we live in, I'm talking about the entire state, if you're seeking counseling, you're probably going to be on a waiting list for 6 months to close to a year. And if you don't have insurance, you're going to be paying somewhere between $150 to $200 an hour. We have the capacity, through the generosity of our donors, to be able to offer counseling services free of charge. And the demand for that is huge.
That's amazing. That's a really great service, definitely, for sure. And that it was definitely important to know about. Yeah. But I guess another question I have for you is, something we were talking about is how a lot of women don't necessarily know about pregnancy centers and know, maybe the services that you guys provide. So what do you think we can do to raise more awareness about pregnancy centers and resources like you guys? What do you think, what is the best way to get, the word of mouth out there about pregnancy centers?
Well, I think we all have networks that we operate within, and sometimes we're going to be networking with women who find themselves at risk or having to make some tough decisions. But we may just be talking with people that we know casually. And making people aware is something that all of us, and there are 10 centers in the state of New Hampshire, we all struggle with. We don't have the same deep pockets and big dollars that people on the other side have. So our marketing strategies are targeted to reach the people that we feel are most at risk. But to answer your question directly, I think one of the things that we have relied on for years is the support of local churches, and they are so instrumental in our being able to move forward. But we find ourselves as directors or anyone else that's speaking on behalf of a center sort of limited. If it's respect life or sanctity of human life, then we have opportunities to speak. But I think a more open door to many of the churches within the community would certainly be a help. And I never want to dismiss this, because frankly, it is the most important thing that people can do in terms of helping us, and that's praying. The prayers that people offer for us have opened doors that frankly would not have opened otherwise, and create just a calm and a peace that sometimes would be lacking if we didn't know that we had that prayer support out there. So that's sort of an indirect answer to your question.
Absolutely. I think definitely word of mouth and just like making people aware, and prayer is so important in all this that we do. And I definitely have experienced that in my own life, where it's like, praying about something has definitely like opened a door, led me to the right people. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I've been at this for 10 years
Mike,
now.
how many
Go ahead, Xindi.
Oh, I was going to ask, how many women and children and families do you estimate that Options for Women has helped as long as it's been open?
Over 41 years? Thousands and thousands. And not to be, I can't throw out a hard number, and I don't want to be nebulous about it either, but thousands of women. I mean, on an annual basis, just like last year, we served about 350 unique individuals, wow. But the impact of that is far greater than just that number of 350, because that doesn't represent the family members, the other children. So the impact starts to grow. I wouldn't say exponentially, but it certainly is more than just the women that come through the door. But I wish I did have a hard number for 41 years, because it would be astounding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's awesome. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Together Family Services part of it? Because I think often...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if you finished your question or not. I'm sorry.
So what I was saying is, so I think often we see pregnancy centers are, all of their services are kind of lumped together, but it seems like you guys have this separate Together Family Services portion of that. So if you could tell us a little bit more about how that operates and how that's different from the medical services, and like why they're separated, I guess, as well.
Well, two things that I think will answer the question that you're asking. The first is that when we moved to Rochester, we had determined through a couple of situations that had happened to us when we were still in Dover that we couldn't mix messages. For a woman who's considering an abortion or was at risk for an abortion, she has a very definite set of specifics that she's interested in getting information. She doesn't want to know that we have parenting classes. She doesn't want to know that we have a thrift shop. And so focusing our medical efforts to her point of need became very important. But, and I'm sure that the two of you have heard this before, pregnancy centers are often accused of only caring about the baby. So while we were concentrating our efforts on women who are at risk, we also realized that we needed to provide and enhance the services that we were able to offer to women who chose to carry, who have families already, to dads that want to be able to be supportive. And that led to the creation of Together Family Services. So what we have under one roof is essentially two different identities, because we're talking to two different audiences. And the messaging is so important. And in my opinion, there's no way to speak to those two audiences in the same language. So Option speaks one language and provides the set of services that are necessary for those women. Together Family Services, women, men, families, and their particular needs to be able to grow and become healthy. One of the things that we strive to do is, if a woman chooses life and yet that child is going to be born into an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy family situation. Thank God that the child has survived, but there's so much more that can be done, and that's what Together Family Services is all about.
That's amazing. How long after the baby's born would you support a family in that way through Together Family Services?
We would start before the baby is born.
Okay.
We want to be in a position where it's a matter of expectation and having answers when the expectations that you have are not met. So anyone that's had a child knows that it doesn't go as planned and things are going to happen and that you just can't prepare for. And so we want to be able to stand alongside of them, hold their hand, know that they have some place that they can come back to for answers. And if someone was to participate in our parenting classes, literally, if they took one a week, they could be here for almost 5 years. We have that many of them available, but it starts pre-birth all the way up into toddlerhood. So it covers a panacea of need. But the answer again to your question is we can't start too soon.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. No, thank you for all that you do.
Should we look at some of the photos? And Mike, you can explain what each photo is about the center.
Yep. That's our baby thrift shop. That's available to clients on our Together Family Services side that are taking parenting classes. It's also open to the public. That's our reception area for TFS. We wanted that to be homey, friendly, and family-oriented. And as you can see, it very much is.
That's awesome. I love the giraffe.
Yeah, we've got a whole family of them.
That's cute.
That's actually the wall that's directly behind me in our conference room. We recognize who our strength comes from and that it's his ministry, not ours. That's one of our 2 ultrasound rooms. We are blessed to have 2 machines. That gives us a capacity to meet more women, and that's our reception area. That, if you look at the contrast between that and what you saw for Together Family Services, we have about 3 seconds to make a first impression. And when a woman comes into our reception area on options, we want her to understand it's a medical office, it's professional, and we're here to care for you in a professional manner. And that's what we believe we'll be able to accomplish.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. It's so nice to have like a welcoming, I haven't been to your center, I haven't been to Options, but I've been to other pregnancy centers that also have a really nice, warm, welcoming environment and especially the entryway when you come in. And I think that's so different than what I've heard of like Planned Parenthood, for example. They don't really have it's a more of a sterile environment. So it's just beautiful that you guys have that. You provide these services and yeah, no, it's just great. Yeah, but the thrift store, what sizes do you carry up to in the thrift store? Like what?
Newborn to toddler 2.
Okay, very cool.
And the majority of use for that thrift shop are the parents that are taking those classes. Every time they take a class, they accumulate points, and then the points are be able to use just like dollars. They can use those in the thrift shop. The other thing that we do with those points, which is really a blessing, is that they can save them up and roll them over for 1 year. And 2 things about them that I think will touch your heart. In some cases, the only way that parents are able to give their kids Christmas gifts is through the points that they've accumulated and that they've earned. It's not that they're just being given, they've earned them. But we also have clients who are using those points for gift cards. And those gift cards are used to put food on the table because in some cases they don't have any dollars to purchase food at a grocery store, but they're earning those points through taking classes, and then they use those cards to be able to feed their family. It's tragic, but it's also such a blessing to be able to see that happen.
Yeah, that's wow. That's just shows, it's testament to how great of a job you guys are doing and the services you're providing, and that's wonderful. So something else I'm curious about is, and we've had some other pregnancy centers on the podcast, but I don't think we've been able to ask this question or get this perspective. But could you tell me a little bit more about like the day in the life of you, like your job as the executive director of a pregnancy center? What does that look like? And then maybe if you have any other volunteers or staff, what do their roles look like as well?
Well, my role is the facilitator and keeping everything together. When you take a look at it, I don't have direct interaction with any of our patients on the medical side or our clients on the family services side. So the reliance on the staff is huge because they're the ones that make it happen. My job is solely being the glorified administrator and fundraiser. That's it. There are so many things. And I hope you'll understand this when I say it, and I hope some of the people that are viewing are going to understand it. Yes, we are a ministry, but every ministry has two components. There's the spiritual and ministry work, and then there's the business side. And so I like to think that my days are spent in both of those worlds, making sure that we maintain our presence and communication and connection to the Lord, and making sure that we're staying behind him and not in front of him. And conversely, on the business side, which is where a lot of my experience has been in life, is making sure that all the things that need to be done from a legal standpoint, insurance standpoint, financial standpoint, all of those are above board, beyond reproach. And that occupies a fair amount of my time.
I'm sure.
The remainder of our staff, since you asked, we have 3 nurses on staff. We have 2 RDMSs who are licensed by the state doing ultrasound. The nurses are qualified to do that as well. We have a receptionist and my administrative assistant. That's all. The administrative assistant, myself, covering both worlds here. And then on the other side, we have our licensed biblical counselor. We have a family services coordinator who handles all the parenting classes. And then we have a handful of key volunteers, some on both sides, interacting with clients through the thrift shop. And as importantly, if not more so, on the medical side, our advocates are all volunteers, and they are the first point of contact for a woman that comes to us who's at risk or may intend to carry. One of the things that's hard for us is that we have women that will come to us, and they will tell us that they have every intention of having their child. And then when we follow up with them, which we are very thorough in doing, we find that that's not the case, that they chose to abort. And so building relationship and trust is as important as anything else that we do here.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's such a big part of it, relationships, for sure.
Can I share one story with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. There's a woman, a young woman, she's in her mid-20s. She has been here a total of 7 times. And this is all within a period of about 22 months. It was just under 2 years. The first 4 times that she was here, her stated intention when she left was that she was going to carry to term and have the baby. And each of those 4 times, she chose to abort.
Oh my gosh.
She came back the 5th time, and something had changed within her. She hadn't brought God into her life. She hadn't accepted Christ, but something had changed. She wanted to have the baby, and she miscarried. She came back to us the 6th time and miscarried again. She came back to us the 7th time, and sometime in 2026, her son will celebrate his 2nd birthday.
Oh, wow.
Now, an awful lot of people would look at that and say that there was a lot of failure there. And what I would say, and what we believe here, is that it wasn't failure. It was, we offer truth, we offer hope, and we offer direction. Whether someone chooses to accept that or not is totally up to them. It's no different than sharing the Lord with somebody. And so the choices that she made, which we obviously all think were bad ones, were all part of the process where she needed to come to a place in her life where she was ready to make a decision for life. So we look at it as she trusted us. She came back every time, even though she knew she lied to us. She came back. We didn't judge her. We didn't condemn her. All we did was offer the love of Jesus Christ to her, and truth, and a hand to help her. And ultimately, a baby was born. So some people look at that as a loss. We count that as a hard-fought victory.
Absolutely. I would agree. And you guys were there and loving her the whole time, even if she made choices that you obviously, was a terrible choice,
Yeah.
So that's wonderful that she has a son now. That's really cool. Praise God.
We could take a look at some of the websites, optionsnh.org, togetherfamilyservices.org, and lifeforonmore.org.
The site you have right up now, Options NH, that's the site that's designed to inform women who are considering abortion or maybe considering having their child. That site is designed specifically to speak to them.
Awesome. And are you guys on social media as well, or is this just the main way that women can access you?
No, I'm obviously older than a lot of my contemporaries and some of the other people. But yeah, social media is huge for us between Facebook and Instagram. There are some places that I refuse to go, even though others encourage me to take us there, just because I just think the platforms are not someplace we ought to be. But social media is big for us. The vast majority of the contacts that we have come through this website and some targeted marketing that we're doing with one of our 2 marketing companies. And frankly, and everybody who supports us knows this, we spend a fair amount of money every year on marketing, but it's proven to be effective. It's taken us from where we were, which was maybe a little bit off track, to where we are now, which is dead on target. And the number of women we're seeing, the number of decisions for life that we're seeing, all of that, frankly, is tied directly into what you're looking at right there.
Very cool. Do you do like targeted like Google ads? Is that kind of I know a lot of pregnancy centers do use those.
We do. We take advantage of the grant that's there. One of the struggles and you've had other pregnancy center directors on, I'm sure they've shared this. The folks at Google and some of the other, like Meta, they're not exactly fans of what we do. Yeah. We have been shut down before as far as being able to access our pages and do anything with them. It's just a constant battle. But the good thing is that the God we follow and serve is greater than any of them. And so far, he continues to come through because they keep coming in the door.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
How about togetherfamilyservices.org?
Well, that's the site that's for our client side. And in addition to the parenting classes and the counseling that I mentioned, there are 2 other aspects of that side of our ministry, and both of them are supportive to women who have had, and families who have challenges. Our post-abortion support, which is called Beauty for Ashes, is operated through Together Family Services. It's a 12-week program for women who acknowledge that they need healing, they need wholeness, they need to accept the forgiveness of the Lord in their lives from past abortions. And so that's part of what TFS offers. And the other is a program called Aliyah, and that's a word that comes from Hebrew meaning ascend and return. And for families that have experienced fetal loss, either through miscarriage, pre-birth loss, post-birth loss, that's a second program that we have available to stand with them and walk through that grieving period and try to just surround them with love and encouragement and some biblical truth that will, in a way, help them walk through that.
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
And the final site is the donor site, lifeforonmore.org.
Mm-hmm. And that site is, as you just mentioned, I was going to say that's specifically for our donors. There's a lot more information there about what we do and how we do it. It's, again, each one of these sites designed to speak specifically to the audience that it's intended to reach. And so the messaging is a little bit different on each of the 3 of them.
Very cool. And you also have an event coming up, right? Can people access that on there? Okay.
On the events tab on Together Families, Together, yes, now it got me confused. Under the Get Involved tab, there is a events. And when you hit events, the first one you would scroll down to would be our fundraising banquet. The theme this year is Unstoppable. It's going to be on Friday, October the 17th. And it is one of only 2 fundraisers that we do each year. The banquet and our baby bottle drive are the only outreach fundraisers that we do. The rest of the time, we're trusting God and his people to provide, and he is phenomenal in terms of doing that. We're excited about our speaker, Rebecca Hagan. She has a story about abortion pill reversal, and her child that is going to touch hearts and is very relevant in light of the fact that the use of abortion pill is continuing to grow at some crazy kind of rate.
Yeah, Mike, could you touch on, I think we've talked about abortion pill reversal on the podcast before, but would you be able to, maybe explain to our listeners what that is? And
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, the term abortion pill is a misnomer because it's really two pills. The first is mifepristone, and that pill is designed to starve the fetus to death. I don't want to be crude about it, but that's what it does. It cuts off all the progesterone. And once that happens, then the developing baby dies of starvation. And the second pill is designed to then cause contractions to expel the baby that has now died. What abortion pill reversal is the administration of very high doses of progesterone, which there are no side effects, there's no harm, there's not anything that can happen with it, and that's scientifically backed up. And if administered within no more than 72 hours after the first of the two abortion pills is taken, there's a close to 70%. It's about 67% success rate where that progesterone is administered weekly through the first trimester. And that 67% success rate is reflected in over 6,000 children that are alive in our country because their mothers had instant regret after taking the first pill, were able to experience APR, abortion pill reversal, and those children live today.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, abortion pill reversal is great, and I think we just need to continue to raise more awareness of what it is, and the fact that it is completely safe. Like, it's literally, the hormone that your body naturally produces anyway. So, I think it's definitely important to raise awareness about that. So thank you for explaining that. Another, we're kind of getting to the end of our time a little bit here, but one last question I had for you is the fact that you guys have 2 ultrasound machines is awesome. Some pregnancy centers don't have ultrasound machines, and I think having them is such a asset to you guys. So what I would love to hear is how that has impacted your work, maybe how long you've had the ultrasound machines and how that's changed your work at your pregnancy center, and what effect it's had on your clients.
Our first machine was given to us with a grant from Focus on the Family in 1998.
Wow.
So we've been doing ultrasound since then. However, the technology, as it has improved and become sharper imaging, went from 2D to 3D to now 4D being available. And combine that with the use of Doppler, which is the equivalent of sonar, where a heartbeat can actually be heard. To try to describe the impact that's had is actually beyond me, because it is the proverbial game changer. There are women who, seeing that child within them, instantaneously change their mind. I mean, instantaneously. There are other women who struggle with that. There are women who will be on an exam table and they'll close their eyes. They don't want to see what's on the screen. However, and if we have time, I got one more short story for you, because it's another one where you see God working. We have a woman who did, in fact, close her eyes and did not want to see anything that the ultrasound was showing. And it was in that very room that this took place. But she was able to hear the heartbeat because she couldn't close her ears.
Wow.
And she told us when she left that it didn't matter. She was going to go to Greenland, which on the seacoast is where the abortion clinic is. And she was going to go there and have an abortion. As I said earlier, our follow-up is very detailed and very methodical. We want to stay with women as long as we possibly can. She was driving down the Spalding Turnpike, headed to Greenland for that abortion appointment, and she started to hear a sound in her head. She pulled over on the side of the highway. The sound kept getting louder. She started weeping because what she realized she was hearing in her head was the heartbeat of that baby that she had heard in that exam room. There was no abortion that took place. Now,
Wow.
Every time I tell this story, I get emotional because it's just evidence. We truly, and I think every director in every center would say the same thing. We don't know what it is that we're going to say or do, particularly in any one case, that's going to make a difference.
Yep.
And so being consistent in what we do, how we do it, what we say is so important. But what we do know is that regardless of whether we do it right or we do it wrong, God can take any piece of that and use it in a way that's going to change not just a mind, but a heart. And that's what happened for that woman. Her heart and mind were changed as she was driving to her abortion appointment, hearing a heartbeat in her head. I mean, it's almost beyond belief what God can do. And those machines and that technology is just part of it.
Praise God. That's awesome. Wow. What a beautiful story. How long ago did that happen?
That would have been about 3 years ago.
Okay. So her baby's probably like 2 going on 3 maybe at this point.
Toddling around.
Toddling around. Oh. Well, that's wonderful. I think the impact of ultrasound is just incredible. And like you said, I think like you don't know what's going to happen. And I know even in the work I do with students on campus, right, I have a lot of conversations, and sometimes it's just, you just plant a seed, and you never know where that seed's going to go. I've had some recently experience I've had is there's been some girls who have approached me when I've been on a college campus who have had abortions, and they keep kind of showing up. They're like in the same classes as one of the students that I work with in pro-life work. He runs the pro-life club at his college, and they're in classes with him, and they seem to not understand why he's pro-life, and because they've had abortions. But I said to him, I was like, you know what? You just being a nice person and being loving and kind to them and just planting seeds, like, and praying for them, that's the best thing you can do. And you don't know where that will go. And maybe someday they'll seek healing for their abortions as well. So it's just amazing, like, in any of those situations, how you can just be, God's vessel, in all the work that we all do. So.
There was, again, I'm much older than both of you, but there was a Christian song back in the early 1980s by Keith Green. And some of the words of that song stay with me forever. It's do your best, pray that it's blessed, and he'll take care of the rest. And that's literally what happens here on almost a daily basis.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Mike, thank you for all the work that you're doing at Options. I think it's incredible, and super grateful for the options that you're giving women and their families. So we're kind of getting to the end of our time, but we would love, I know you brought along a Bible verse that you wanted to share. Would you mind sharing that with our audience?
No, I'd be happy to. This is Proverbs chapter 31, verses 8 and 9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless, and see that they get justice.
I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for joining the podcast. Cindy, do you have anything else to add?
No, just I'm glad Options for Women is in New Hampshire, in Rochester, has been for 41 years, and what a blessing to New Hampshire.
Yeah, and Mike, could you tell us your website, both of the website handles one more time so that people, our guests, know?
The patient side is optionsnh.org, and our donor side, and we encourage people to go there, is lifeforOneMore.org. And I don't want to leave Together Family Services out, and it's real simple, togetherfamilyservices.org.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Thanks for joining the podcast, Mike. And definitely we'll continue to pray for you in your great work that you're doing in your great ministry. So thank you.
Thank you both. It's really deeply appreciated.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Ever Living podcast, a podcast by New Hampshire Right-to-Life, New Hampshire's oldest and most active pro-life organization. You can learn more about our work and learn how to get involved at www.nhrtl.org. If you would like to donate to our mission, you can make a donation at www.nhrtl.org/donate. See you next week. May God bless you and be very near to you, and may you be ever living.